What's up, everybody? It's the one, the only, the Phenome, and welcome to yet another Phenome special video regarding World of Warcraft Legion. So, the series is continuing, so this is the third video in my Artifact Weapon series, and today, the class we're going to be looking at is the Warrior. Okay. Without further ado, let's go straight into it, and we're going to start off with the first spec, which is Arms. Arms is a damage spec for the Warrior class, and the weapon they're going to be wielding is called Stromkar the Warbreaker. And the description reads, "This great sword was born into combat by the barbarian warlord who first united humanity under a single banner, founding the nation of Arathor. A master tactician and strategist, King Thoradin went on to play a critical role in ending the Troll Wars. Later, the sword was lost while it was being used to subdue a Cthraxi monstrosity in a forgotten tomb beneath Tirisfal. Abandoned and all but forgotten, Stromkar has been slowly drinking from the shadowy power there over thousands of years." Okay, this might be the first occasion where the weapon actually isn't the focal point of its own lore. This blade has earned its significance through its wielder, who in this case is the first ruler of a united human kingdom, Arathor, and this man is King Thoradin. Now, as it says in the description, along with the amazing feat of actually unifying the human clans, which were pretty independent at that time, he was instrumental in ending the Troll Wars, and surely he should have had Stromkar with him on that occasion as well, so it has seen its fair share of action, its fair share of great historical events. And actually, up to this point, I didn't have any issues with the story, because the focus of a warrior, in my mind, is not in a super powerful weapon. Sure, he likes to have a great blade, a sharp blade that's good for helping him achieve what he wants to do, but I think the real focus of a warrior is in his abilities, in his strength, in his cunning, perhaps in his mindset, maybe. And the weapon, in my opinion, it's simply a complement to a warrior. And this is where it gets a bit murky for me, because of the other half of the description, and it's concerning me on several fronts. First off, this is not maybe directly directed to this is not directly involved with what I just said, but in any case, it doesn't say who was wielding the sword against this monstrosity. Was it King Thoradin? Was it someone else? Was it one of his heirs? Was it someone who, I don't know, stole the sword? Whatever. It just says that later the sword was lost, and it wasn't said who actually did. So that's going to be interesting to find out, because that kind of information could have been useful, so we could at least have a better understanding of the circumstances. Also, a Cthraxi. Now, this seems to be a name of a species associated with the old gods, or maybe the Karaji. Now, there's, as far as we know, is no Karaji presence in the Eastern Kingdoms, so this monster might be a connection to the old gods, or we could find a new Silted Nest, and what better way to find a new Silted Nest than underneath basically one of the bastions of Horde power, which is Tirisfal. And yes, Tirisfal. We have heard that one before, haven't we? And in regards to Tirisfal, I think another location that I have already mentioned in a previous video about the Paladin might be the place of this spot where it was this forgotten tomb, and that is Whispering Forest. I think there are two major options for the Whispering Forest to be involved in this future lore. One is that it is the last resting place of Tyr, because of the kind of the light, maybe the star on the ground that is being radiated there during that ritual with the fairy dragons and that creepy music. There is a star on the ground. So yeah, Tyr is one option, but the other option is the place where the sword was lost. And maybe, who knows, maybe if it is old god influence, that's what's making the fairy dragons act so weird and maybe point to a spot where something really, it's like, come here. This is a spot of great importance. You might find something here, and you go there, and you're lured into a trap, and you're killed, or driven insane, and now you're a servant of the old gods. Who knows? Also, another interesting bit about the Whispering Forest. This is a little off topic. You can find there that there is a little island in a lake nearby. There is a skeleton who has been stabbed in the back, which is also an interesting thought. Something weird is going on there, and I think we might actually find out what's going on there in Legion. Right, and the final thing. The final thing is the last passage in this description, and I honestly hope that the shadowy power that they're talking about here is something we might have to cleanse from the blade. And yeah, because warrior weapons shouldn't be imbued with magics. They don't need that. That's my view again, but warrior weapons shouldn't need magic. I mean, it's cool if you strike an enemy with a weapon and the shadow bolt hits him as well. That's cool, but if you're talking about artifacts, don't give them magic. Just don't give magic to warrior weapons. Also, if you're playing a warrior and you would like to see something like that, or you have a different opinion on this, do write something in the comments about this. Voice your opinion. I would really appreciate having a discussion about this. And yeah, right. That's it about the lore. Let's look at the weapon variants right now, and as you can see, there's not too much to look at. There is only one variant available at the moment, and it looks okay from an aesthetic standpoint, but again, for me, a warrior's weapon should all be about functionality. It has to look great. For example, variant Rinse Sword looks pretty awesome, but it also has to be functional, and this blade, I think, is a bit too ornate for my liking. Sure, I think it still is functional as a tool on the battlefield, but it's not as functional as it could have been. Those little kinks, I don't think I don't think they were needed on the blade itself, on the sharp parts of the blade. In the middle, sure, whatever, go with it. I actually like the kind of lava bit in the middle. It's kind of cool, but in terms of functionality, not that much of a fan. And in this case, I favor the original weapon, which just has this long blade. I kind of favor it more. Sure, the crest can have whatever it does, like in the previous one version that was shown on the gnome there. It had, I think, a kind of an eye on the crest, and sure, go for it. The crest could be ornated, no problem with that, but as long as the blade itself is functional. Okay. So all in all, not really too much to say here. I think we need more variants to assess like the complete overview for these weapon variants. At the moment, it's okay, but definitely nothing super exciting. Right, let's move on to Fury. Now, Fury will be also a damage spec for the warrior class, and the weapons they're going to be wielding are Warlords of Draenor. The description reads: in ages past, the Titanic Watcher Keeper Odin betrayed the sorceress Helya, killing her and twisted her spirit into a spectral Valkyr. He forged the Sparrow Swords for the mightiest of his storm-forged Valjar, but Helya stole the swords and infused them with a portion of her rage. She then gave them to her own champion, who used them to hunt the greatest of heroes and drag their souls away to serve in Helheim. These swords stir their owner into unrelenting and punishing attacks that overcome a target's defenses and leave no opening for counterattacks. Okay, I really like that final passage, and honestly, this is maybe the only type of magic weapon that I'm actually appreciating for a warrior, because it doesn't really make the swords themselves that powerful. It's not like the swords are going to start shooting lightning or something. They actually enhance the wielder. And I think that's pretty cool. Now, in terms of lore, we don't know anything about any of these characters or places, except for the fact that we have encountered Valkyr before. Obviously in Northrend as servants of the Lich King. But those are, I think... well, yeah, those were Valkyr, obviously, yeah. but we didn't really know too much about them. All we know is that they are the ones who can mass res undead, basically, and they have been resing Sylvanas for a while. But they had to take her place in Hell, or whatever that place is. So yeah, that's about the Valkyr, and we also know from the information on Legion that Helheim is the place where all the cursed and dishonorable Raikul go after they die, like their souls go there, and that will also be in Legion dungeon, basically. And in this dungeon, you will board a ship to Helheim, as far as I understand it, and we should be doing battle against Helia and her minions because she seems to be kind of the one who's pulling the strings behind Helheim. To be honest, none of these characters seem really positive, so to speak. Even though Odin is supposed to be a Titanic Watcher, he did betray Helia, so he can be that good, I guess. And it'll be interesting to see if perhaps Odin asks you to recover the swords for him so he can put them in the hands of his own warriors. But when you find out the entire story, you can't appreciate what Helia is doing, especially after we find out some more about her in these descriptions. But that's another thing. Yeah, we find out that they're both actually quite despicable. So in the end, we might slay the Hellish champion, take away the swords, and basically just have those swords for ourselves to kind of punish Odin for him being so for him being despicable, basically, and betraying Helia in the first place. This topic still remains completely open, so we're gonna have to wait for more information on Stormheim and the story of the Raikul. And this is pure speculation. We don't know anything about this. So yeah, since that's the case here, let's take a look at the weapon variants here. And actually, these are appropriate. That's what I would like to call them. Appropriate. Nothing too fancy. Oh, sure, there are little elemental bits and spiritual bits, but I think they're appropriate. Nothing too fancy and nothing too like over the top magical. Now the one on the right is radiating light. So that could have been a paladin sword, maybe. Who knows? And the three swords in the middle, basically, they radiate fire, lightning, and some kind of spiritual energy, respectively. But considering the fact that they were forged by a Titanic Watcher, it kind of makes sense. Besides, the weapon effect, in my opinion, is known already. We know that it kind of generates fury in you. So we shouldn't worry about these weapons starting to blast enemies with lightning, spectral power of fire, or whatever. In terms of aesthetics, they seem to be quite bulky and unwieldy. Then again, they are supposed to be two-handers, and we know that with Titan's Grip, I mean, that's what Titan's Grip is, basically. The Fury Warrior is so strong, he's so strong, he's so powerful, he can wield two-hand weapons in one hand, so I don't think the bulk of these weapons should be a problem. Also, it's a bit peculiar how small the base weapon is. I mean, it looks way smaller. It looks like a one-hander when compared to all these others, but maybe that might be a thing. Maybe you start out with one-handers and then you upgrade them to two-handers. That might be a case, but then again, we don't know. All in all, these are okay designs. They're not mind-blowing. That's a definite thing, but they're okay. Maybe bottom, but they are definitely bottom half of the artifact weapon pool in my eyes. Okay, let's look at the final spec for the warrior, and that is protection. And now protection spec is a tanking spec for the warrior class, and the weapon, or in this case the shield that they're going to be using, is called the Scale of the Earth Warder. And the description reads, an impenetrable shield crafted from a scale of the Black Dragon aspect Neltharion the Earth Warder, before the old god's corruption overcame him. The formidable Raikul king Magnar Icebreaker carried the shield into combat and won victory after victory in the face of grim odds. When he finally fell in battle, it was due to treachery by servants of the Valkyrie Helia. The shield is now entombed with King Magnar's body in the Path of Kings in Stormheim. Okay, we again encounter some unfamiliar territory here with the new Rykul lore, only in this story we swap out Keeper Odin for King Magnar Icebreaker. And there are a couple of reasons to kind of scratch your head about this. Now, it was said that this shield was made from the scale of Neltharion, the Black Dragon aspect, who became Deathwing later on. The question for me is, do dragons shed scales? Because I assume that the Great Dragon just didn't give a scale to some mortals, because, number one, dragons didn't trust mortals until recent times, and two, in the lore, a dragon scale contains a lot of power, so dragons obviously wouldn't trust mortals with power, because see the first point. And yeah, they could have wreaked some serious havoc on the world if the dragons are charged with protecting. I mean, any paltry spellcaster could find the scale, and if he would try to delve into those secrets, who knows what kind of powers he would unleash. So, yeah, I guess the thing is that maybe they did somehow find a scale, maybe in Neltharion's lair, although that is a high mountain again. Doesn't really connect, but yeah. Another thing for it is who told them how to work it? I mean, it's not like dragon scale armor and shields are made on a regular basis. This is something really special, and actually, we're talking about an aspect scale here. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. I mean, it's not just some run-of-the-mill dragon. This is a bloody dragon aspect. The power contained within would probably kill anyone without proper knowledge about of handling these energies. Hopefully, we will get a bit of an insight into the origin of this shield, and then some of these questions might be answered, because I think they are valid. It's not like, as I said, it's not like something like this could be found and made overnight, just for lols. In any case, this is a very powerful shield, since the only way that the Valkyrie King was killed, the Rykul King, sorry, the only way he was killed was through treachery, and it wasn't just anyone who betrayed him. It was the Valkyrie Helia. Here she is again. So she is. I think she's going to be a pretty prominent villain in the new expansion, at least in Stormheim. Yeah. In terms of the quest chain, it's going to be interesting to see how you might be tested to obtain it. I think it would be quite cool to go through a kind of trial of fortitude to prove your worth, perhaps to the descendants of the Great King, who are maybe now a splinter faction in Stormheim. And yeah, you prove your worth to the descendants of this king, and maybe in the end you receive like a blessing of the king himself, of the fallen king, and he also grants you his sword and shield, which would be pretty cool. There is again good potential here to create a great fresh storyline. Okay, since there is not much to talk about in terms of lore, because we simply don't know it, let's look at the weapon variants instead. Yeah, this is one amazing collection of sword and board combos. All these shields look really tough, but also very ornate at the same time, and I think it kind of shows the fact that even though this is a battle tool, this is a mighty shield. It was also used by a fighter of noble blood, due to the ornate look of these shields. Yeah, I might have said that twice. Whatever. For me personally, it's all about the dragon version, which is on the far right. I mean, that just looks awesome, and it really attracts me. I mean, that would be the one that I would choose. Again, it does seem like the shield is bound together with lava, which would make it magical, and you know what my attitude is against magic for warrior weapons and basically gear. But in this case, I think it's appropriate. You just go with the fantasy of the fact that this is a dragon scale shield. So yeah, why not? One variant, why not? That seems appropriate. The one in the middle and to the right also catch the eye. The middle really seems good for an Alliance warrior, especially if he's rocking some Blue Alliance colors as well. I think that seems really appropriate. The other one, however, is pretty good for a Forsaken warrior. I mean, this obviously bones and skulls and the purple colors as well. Plus, with the kind of the green spectral energy around the sword, I think that's very fitting. Right. For the original and enhanced versions, I think they are more general in their look, so I think any warrior would fit them quite well. So no problems there. I think they're all very good looking. I think this is in my eyes the best warrior weapon collection of them all. No, don't think. I mean, Fury definitely doesn't come close. With arms, we haven't seen all the variants here, but I'm calling it that this is the best collection they have. Very appropriate, very good stuff. So, to sum it all up, there are many unknowns here about the storylines on all the weapons because they are mostly tied to unknown lore, with the Stormheim quest lines and the quest line about King Thoradin and Stormcar. But yeah, I can only hope that they will get good stuff in that respect because it would be pretty cool to find out about the founder of the human kingdoms, like the man behind basically all the kingdoms that exist in the in the eastern continent of Azeroth. And also, it would be interesting to find out something about Neltharion, the Black Dragon aspect before his corruption. Yeah, that would be pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting stuff. In terms of the visuals, as I said, protection looks great. I think protection warriors can be quite happy with what they've got. About arms and fury, I would be a bit worried. Hopefully for arms warriors, the other three versions that will come out are gonna be good. And yeah, they're okay at the moment, but not really pushing the top half of the artifact weapon pool in my eyes. Okay, that's gonna be it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. If you leave a like or a comment, then that would also be very helpful. Also, don't forget that we have pages on Facebook and Twitter, so check them out for useful updates, and the links for those can be found in the description of this video. Okay, I guess that's gonna be all. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.